Center, single back is Gibbs. Goff turn, gives it to Jameer, to the end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions. That's the way you make a statement on the road on Monday night to start a football game, straight down the field to the end zone. It is 2nd and goal from the 1. Goff out of the gun.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2. Hey yo, AC. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Hey. Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
Podcast. Shout out to Rockhound Detroit Lions, man. One pride.
Rise and Grind Morning Show is the best podcast in the world. Meek Robinson.
All right. Good morning, man. It's a great morning to be a Detroit Lions fan. And guess what? Welcome to another episode of the Rise and Grind Morning Show each and every weekday. Well, it's supposed to start at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm your host, Will Rock. And if you're on X, you can also find me at Will Rock Jr. Hey, it's Thirsty Thursday. So get you a bag of Honolulu Blue coffee. You can find that. Links will be in the description. And guess what? You found the right place. You can drink in your Lions coffee and your Lions news and your Lions rumors right here on Rockdown Detroit Lions, the home of the Rise and Grind Morning Show. So smash that subscribe button. Let's get rolling. Turn those notifications on. We'll be right back in 17 seconds. Not like you haven't waited long enough. And we'll be right back here with Eric. Let's do it, man. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
And we are joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, Eric Rintamaki. Good morning, man. What's happening?
Hey, I'm so happy. We're past it. It's time to talk football and not all that other mumbo jumbo. So I'm very happy that we're past everything now. We can finally talk about football.
You know it's never going to end.
We're done with it. No more Myles Garrett. No more Hendrickson. No more.
How much you want to
whoever.
bet? How much you want to bet that there's going to be some sort of conversation about it after this weekend, after we play the Commanders, and then after the next weekend, after we play the next team? It's crazy to me. I was listening to Rich Eisen this morning while I was in the shower, and he brought up Al-Qadim Muhammad.
Really?
And he was saying good stuff. Like, hey, the Lions found that other guy, Al-Qadim Muhammad. And I'm like, imagine that. Rich Eisen, smarter than all of us. You know, big-time Michigan fan. Obviously, he was probably torn in pieces with JJ and the Lions and JJ and the Lions. But anyway, giving his big kudos and credit to the Lions and AQM, the unlikely, rising above. And so, hey, I forgot to talk about something yesterday. Well, maybe I didn't. But do you remember when we used to do that segment that was the over under reactions? Remember that? Remember we used to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure, because that was well over a year ago.
Yeah.
Year and a half ago that we started doing that. I was looking through. So if you go back, 13, 14, 15 months, it's all in there. Yeah, I thought that was a segment that we probably should have kept using this year, but I don't know why we kind of let it die. I know the bold takes was supposed to kind of take over it, but it is what it is. So hey, it's Thursday, man. It's Thirsty Thursday. I'm ready to drink it in today, man. Drinking these Lions, and let's see what they have in store for us. It's going to be a wild weekend. I know there's some, I guess not really breaking news, but different news with Jade Daniels that we're going to discuss here in the injury report. We do have a pretty packed show. We're not going to get to all of it. Dealt with power outage. Someone hit a pole, and so at 4:55 in the morning, you find out that you don't have power. As you guys know, that screws everything up. My battery backup died, so everything that I had open and working had to get reset this morning. So I apologize for being late today. Injury list, man. I'm just going to start right with it, get it out of the way. And it's a long list. We've got some players back that we're going to talk about too, which is big news. As I reported about a week or so ago when Dan Campbell said, hey, Paschal's coming back. They did the Inside the Den. That was the precursor to Paschal coming back, and he's back. Miles Frazier, a guy that Dan Campbell said 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, unlikely to come back. And you kept thinking he's going to come back. He's back. And perfect timing. I mean, perfect timing to get both of these guys back. One, when you need some depth on the defensive line. And two, and some fresh legs. And two, you're getting fresh legs and depth and possibly a starter on the offensive line if he can get up to speed, and that is Miles Frazier. So let me jump into what Tim Twentyman had put together. He said the rookie offensive lineman Miles Frazier has had a frustrating start to his NFL career. He's been dealing with a knee injury that required the Lions to start his season on the physical unable to perform list, causing him to miss training camp, preseason, and the first 9 weeks of the regular season. Lions dealing with issues with Taylor Decker, now Penei Sewell. Mahogany's out potentially for the season, potentially could come back. Don't know. It's 50-50. Tate Ratledge has had an interesting welcome to the NFL. He plays great, then he plays okay, and then he plays great, and then he plays terrible. He's a rookie. He's doing rookie things. So with Frazier getting back in the fold, right, and making his way back, it's obviously a big first step. And as Tim Twentyman said here, the line starting his practice window yesterday gives Dan Campbell and the coaches 21 days, obviously, to evaluate his health and his ability to be able to make it to the field. So no training camp, no nothing, as Dan Campbell said. So this will be a little bit of a baby fawn at the beginning, and then he'll quickly grow. Campbell said this yesterday of Miles Frazier. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. Obviously, this is big. It's big for us to get a big body onto the offensive line, someone that played at LSU, clearly knows how to play the game of football. He was a pretty damn good football player on that offensive line, if I might add. So what are your thoughts hearing Paschal's back, Frazier's back, and then we'll dive into the injury report?
Well, let me have 1 second. I have a little something to say about Miles Frazier. So he played 3 seasons at LSU and 2 seasons at Florida International. He started in 50 of 54 career games. He has 27 starts at right guard, 11 starts at left tackle, 10 starts at left guard, and 2 starts at right tackle. So you talk about a kid that can play all over the line. There you go. He allowed 0 sacks in 2024 at LSU and earned the 6th best pass blocking grade in the country, allowing only 4 sacks on 1,563 pass blocking opportunities. So I think that Brad and Dan, the whole reason they did not do anything outrageous at the trade deadline is they know they have this secret weapon sitting in the garage waiting to be unleashed. And just like last year with Mahogany, it's not the best circumstance in the world that you have to throw this kid into. Well, it's basically exactly the same as last year. No training camp, no live reps. You're throwing him into a game. And that's what's going to have to happen with Miles Frazier. They're going to need the same kind of an arc that they got from Mahogany last year when he filled in at the end of the year.
It's not going to be an easy ramp up. You know, anytime you enter the fold as a rookie in the middle of a season, like, we can't expect a lot of anything out of him. You just can't. He's going to have his feet held to the fire. Now, another guy that has experience and a lot of experience helped this defensive line out last season was Josh Paschal. I mean, everybody went down. He was one of the last ones hanging. Him and Jack seemed to anchor the defense for the rest of the season. And he was put in at a primary, right or left edge position consistently throughout the rest of the year. Played pretty well. I mean, it wasn't like his numbers were jumping off the page, but I think that he did an excellent job at anchoring and helping to stabilize a defense that was completely decimated. You couldn't have asked for anything better out of Josh Paschal. I heard a phrase by Rich Eisen, again, about a year ago or so, when he said, every team in the NFL needs a Josh Paschal. And I thought it wasn't just a bold statement. I thought it was a very accurate statement. And I think that we learned why when the Inside the Den came out. I don't know, was that number 5 or number 4? I forget what number it was. But just a week or so ago, highlighting Josh Paschal. And you learned why every team needs a Josh Paschal. This dude is a fighter. He is someone that is not going to give up. When all the chips are down, he still finds a way to rise up and get after it every single day. He embodies that word grit. He is, he's like a glue guy in that locker room. He's someone that you can lean on, and he proved that last year. I don't care about the PFF grades. I think that we've learned enough to know that PFF is not accurate. I mean, outside of the normal stats that they give you, that are fairly accurate, the grades are not. I think it's crazy when you look at ESPN's list and you look at PFF's list and how stark different they are. So I don't really compare the two. I don't really care what any of them say. I watched the film, and Josh Paschal played pretty good last year. So Detroit also started the practice window for Josh Paschal on Wednesday. He's been out with a back injury. I don't know why it took them so long to just tell us what the hell was going on. Like, why did it take 7-8 weeks just to say the dude's dealing with a back? You know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't coincidence that video came out from the Detroit Lions about his skin cancer.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't coincidence. And then all of a sudden, oh, he's back.
Yeah. No, it was planned. It was planned. I mean, maybe it was all for the pomp and circumstance, and I wouldn't think that the Lions are trying to make light of the situation by any means.
No.
I think what they did was, hey, look at this dude. Look how big of a fighter he is. Let's get to know him a little bit deeper, because anybody's cancer battle, obviously doing it in the month of October was big, but anybody's cancer battle, like, there is no cancer that is small, right? That word doesn't exist. I don't care if it's a 1 millimeter nodule or a 10-inch, mass. All cancer sucks, and all cancer can kill you. So he's fought his way, his whole life at a young age, going through this stuff at UK, shaped and molded who he was. He was willing to accept whatever was going to happen. And I think that is something that also helped drive him. Now, obviously, I haven't had a conversation with him, but I think it helped drive him to be the player that he is today. Through 18 starts, through his first 3 seasons, he's missed a lot of time. He's played in 36 games, though. He has 62 tackles, 5 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, a lot of which he had last year. He gives Detroit another inside-outside presence along their defensive front. And Josh Paschal had this to say yesterday. He says, I feel like I'm in great shape. I just have to be able to play football and get some reps in. We have a great team, a great defense, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what I can do and what my role will be to be able to help them. Perfectly said. Like, he just wants to get in there and help, and he'll be able to do that. He'll have an opportunity to do that. Lions are going to get a good look at him. It's not going to be soon, right? I would say it's going to be at least a 2-week. I'd expect him back by week 11 at the earliest. May go 3 weeks, because you have to make a roster spot. And I think that's the hardest thing that the Lions are dealing with right now is roster spots. So thoughts on Josh Paschal?
It's good to have him back. He's a great teammate in that locker room. He's been here through the thick and thin of last year, so he's going to help. We've had players like Wingo that haven't played a single snap this year, but he's been on the roster and healthy. So having Josh Paschal back, I think, kind of fills in that in-between role and gives them a little more versatility than they have right now. Someone that can jump in there and play multiple positions on the line and give us some fresh legs. Some maybe Hutch doesn't need to be out there for 95% of the snaps. Maybe he can be out there for 90.
How many snaps did you say he'd be out there for? 90?
Who, Hutch?
Yeah, what did you just say?
I said they want him out there 95% of the time. I said, let's get him out there for 90 instead.
I got you.
Let's do 5% less.
It's funny, right? Because, Kelvin Shepard, I don't know, a couple weeks ago was saying, it's not like we don't want to get Aiden off the field.
Yeah, they can't.
But go try to tell that man to get off the field. And look, I mean, you're just going to have to tell Hutch to just to sit down. Like, dude, you need a long career. Do you want to make it through your next contract? Or, like the guys that last a long time in the NFL, they learn quickly how to shut it down and how to, gain a couple of extra, breaths of fresh air so that they can last, in this league, because that many car crashes consistently week in and week out, it's going to wear on you way too. He may not feel it now, but wait till he gets into year 5. And he's going to be like, damn, if I would have just played 5% less, add up all those snaps, that's a whole season, potentially, you know? It's a whole season that he could have maybe lasted a little bit longer. All right, on the injury report this morning, so Kirby Joseph still dealing with the knee. He was no practice yesterday. Taylor Decker, obviously, with the shoulder. He did not practice. Pat O'Connor now is popped up with the knee. No practice yesterday. Penei Sewell with a shoulder. And Dan Skipper with a back. All didn't practice. Some of these guys are going to be rest. Some of these guys are going to be injury. Some of them, it's a combination of both. Dan Campbell was unsure yesterday if Penei Sewell was going to play. He was unsure if Taylor Decker was going to play. He's unsure if Kirby Joseph is going to play. So we'll pay more attention tomorrow on what that injury report looks like and if we get any movement at all today, at the press conference. Miles
Sewell.
Go ahead.
Penei Sewell did tell Tim Twentyman yesterday that he's playing this Sunday.
He thinks so. It depends on what Dan says, right? He might want to shut him down. We'll see, because you know how Dan is, dude. He's like, look, man, I want you to last the season. It's not about any one game, right? We've got, what do we have? 9 games in front of us.
9 games left.
So I'd rather have him healthy for 8 than take a risk with playing 9. You know, that I'm sure that's the way Dan looks at it too. I'd rather have you healthy for the last 8. Maybe you need an extra week. You know, I don't know. I guess time will tell on Sunday. Miles Frazier came in limited with a knee. Josh Paschal limited with a knee. All these guys are limited. Malcolm Rodriguez, Jacob Sailors, Grant Stewart with a foot. Terry and Arnold, Ty Summers, Daniel Thomas, all full participants. So Daniel Thomas is a big one for me. The safety that they really liked that they brought in was playing well. Busted up his forearm. Was in a cast for several weeks now. Had surgery, I think, to repair it. And then now he's a full participant. So looking to get him back on the field means to me that Kirby Joseph is even less likely to play if Daniel Thomas is able to go. That gives Brian Branch a running mate back there to go do some damage. So that's your Lions injury report. Comments, questions, statements?
Yeah, so in the chat, Nick P says Kirby has a PCL strain and will miss 4 to 6 weeks. I have not seen that anywhere. That would have been blowing up my phone.
Yeah, who said that?
Somewhere. Nick P.
Where's that
from?
Yeah,
Nick P?
who said that?
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know where you saw that, Nick P.
That's my question. Who said that?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Commanders real quick.
Yep. They have a laundry list just like we do.
Yeah, they do. Okay, the injury report for Washington. Quarterback Jaden Daniels, left elbow, did not practice. Eric has an update on this here in just a moment on what this really means. Tight end Zach Ertz is on rest, is what they're calling it. He did not practice. Safety Quan Martin has a hamstring. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin, quad, did not practice. That one's more likely to be out. Von Miller is on rest, is how they're listing it. I like how they list rest in how they did their injury report. Styler Owens, hamstring, did not practice. And Laramie Tunsil, the tackle, hamstring, he's also on rest. Tunsil's more likely to play. Cornerback, Trey Amos, the guy that I said was going to be one of the best corners in this draft, playing for the Commanders, has had a pretty damn good season for a rookie. I'm super impressed. Like, this is a guy that I said looked exactly like Terry and Arnold by the way that he played, the body style, the way that he tackled. They did play together briefly. I can't remember which team it was that they played together. It might have been Bama, or might have been, it might have been Bama. So Trey Amos limited with a hip. More than likely he'll play. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, I guess he's got a tooth injury.
He had dental work, so they had him in a black jersey yesterday, no contact jersey, because he had like a root canal or something done.
Ah, yeah, speaking of dental work, I need to get into the dentist.
That's today.
Yeah, defensive tackle Eddie Goldman, defensive tackle Jerzon Newton, your guy. You like Jerzon Newton out of the combine a couple years ago. Concussion and ankle for both of those guys, both listed as limited. Tight end Colson Yankoff. Wow, what a last name, Yankoff. Wow, man, his high school days were probably terrible.
And he's a tight end.
Yeah. Oh boy. Wow. Hamstring limited, and then Bobby Wagner. He's got a thumb injury. He was a full participant. So they got some players out. They got some big names out, and just like the Lions, look, they're going to find ways. They're going to find ways to make it happen. So give us the goods here on Jaden Daniels and the latest report.
All right. So in a stunning turn of events, Jaden Daniels' season may not be over after all. If you watched the Monday night game where he was in against the Seahawks, where they were down 28-7 late in the third or fourth quarter, Jaden Daniels was in. Well, Jaden Daniels' elbow dislocation injury was grotesque, but because it is not his throwing elbow, there will not need to be a Tommy John UCL surgery. Sports doctor David Chow posted on X on November 2nd, the injury is not career threatening, and depending on the associated injuries, there is a slim chance it may not be season ending. Depending upon the Commanders' playoff chances later in the season, it may not matter either way.
Give me 2 seconds. I gotta get a package.
Okay. Yeah. So Jaden Daniels, it's a foregone conclusion. He is not playing against the Lions. It's not going to happen. But what they're saying with this is that there's a possibility in late December, he could possibly be back and he could avoid surgery on that left arm since it's his non-throwing arm, which would be crazy to see him come back this season.
All right, so what was the update on him? He has no surgery scheduled, right?
Yep.
And it's non-throwing arm, so the season's not over is what was speculated.
Yeah, that he could be back in like late December, but it all hinges on whether they have any playoff aspirations or not. If they're knocked out of the playoffs, if they lose the next couple of games, they're not going to ask him to come back. Because they're already 3-6. They get to 8-9 losses. It basically knocks them out of the playoffs. I think you're going to need 10 wins to get to the playoffs this year in the NFC. Divisions like the NFC North are just too tough. Every team in our division has a winning record right now. They're all 500 or above.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Like, so Rich Eisen this morning, he dropped the Lions from 1 to 9 on his on his power ranking. He still has the Lions as a high favorite to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, he's not down and out. I mean, the Lions are the 7th seed right now. And they went from one to none, right? 1 to 7 and 1 to 9 on the power ranking. I don't know that I would agree with 9, but we'll make the case for it here in a little bit on where maybe the Lions look. The power ranking is great. It's always good to see your team up at the top, and have all those nice little highlights about your team throughout the season. At the end of the day, they just need to go out and win and play good football, right? And the thing that concerns me the most, here, we'll pack in this injury report real quick before I get off and running on that.
Yep.
As far as injuries go, look, the Lions are in bad shape. I'm not gonna lie, we're in bad shape. The defense is in pretty good shape though. Like, I'm less concerned about the defense. I'm more concerned about the offense and the offensive line. I think that we have some major issues brewing here. The Lions didn't do much to fix it outside of, let's roll into that next article on the players that they brought in. So you had a topic of the roster moves, roster changes.
So not only have the Detroit Lions started the evaluation clock on 5th round rookie Miles Frazier, but the team also announced on Wednesday that they have added 3 offensive linemen to their practice squad: Jack Conley, Chris Hubbard, and Netane Moody. Now, you might remember Netane Moody. Conley's addition on Tuesday night leaked out to the media, while Conley, an undrafted rookie, is more of a developmental ad. Hubbard and Moody are veterans who give Detroit Lions some serious experience. Hubbard has been in the league since 2013 and has started 61 games in his career. He's played for the Steelers, Browns, Titans, and was most recently with the Giants, playing in 8 games and starting 3 for the New York Giants last season. Hubbard has mostly played tackle. Man, this is moving all over on me. So he's mostly played tackle in the past 6 years of his career, but earlier in his career, he filled in at both guard and center. He has not spent time with any team in 2025, however. And then Moody is a familiar name, as the 5-year veteran has spent portions of the last 2 seasons with the Lions. His 2024 season was lost due to a training camp injury, and he failed to make the team this year out of training camp. But with 22 games of experience and 4 starts to his name, he gives Detroit some veteran guard experience in the wake of Christian Mahogany's long-term injury. Detroit may need all the help they can get on the offensive line, considering Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell are also dealing with ailments that could cause them to miss Sunday's game against the Commanders.
Okay. So adding a couple of guys. Obviously, Christian Cologne's been around for a hot minute, but they brought in Netane Moody's been around for a hot minute. Like that guy doesn't really excite me, but at least he knows the system. You know, he's been with these guys for a while, so that helps with cohesion. They understand the communication. They probably have a good feel, as to what these guys are all about. And I think it's the breadth of reps that he's had over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Because when you're barely on the practice squad, you're not getting a lot of reps. You're definitely not getting 1 reps. And so I'm sure he probably got a few reps this week, maybe a few, but it's not enough. And so it doesn't excite me, overall to know that we just don't have much for the offensive line when it comes to depth. And that was my biggest concern going into the season.
But when you're possibly missing 3 of your starters, if you're missing both your tackles and your left guard in this game, that's going to be one tall task.
It is
for any team. Any team.
But you know what though? I have to spread a little sugar on this, because there's been teams that have gone through this. The Chiefs have gone through it. Look how many teams we've gone up against over the last couple of seasons. Let's see. Was it the Bucks?
The Bucks had
the Bucks when they came in 2023. Was it 23? 2023. They came into Detroit. Didn't we suffer a loss? Was it week 2?
Yes, that was last year.
Oh, that was last year. So it wasn't that one. It was the year before.
And that's when Hutch went off and had all those sacks, but we still lost the game.
Yeah. Well, there's some other games too where we've gone up against teams that are completely decimated. The Seahawks was one 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, whatever it was, 3 seasons ago, I think. The Seahawks come into Detroit. We're expecting to get after these guys. They're banged up, and they win, and they gave us hell.
Their ass.
Right? So I'm on the other side of the fence looking in. I'm like, okay, other teams have been there, done that. The difference to me is the OC. What is that offensive coordinator going to do to put this team in a position to win? You can't walk into this game if you are missing 2 tackles and a guard. If that does happen, you can't walk into this game calling the same type and style of plays that you called 3 weeks ago with your starters. You can't do it. You have to play to these guys' strength. If they can't pin and pull, you don't do it, right? If they can't climb to the second level, you don't do it. You have to go super vanilla. You have to put the onus on Jared Goff's arm, whatever it is. You have to run through the middle. I don't care. Run through, behind Penei. Bring in a 6th offensive lineman from time to time. If you are going to run the football, play out of the shotgun a little bit more. I mean, whatever you're going to do, you better figure out how to do it quickly. And this is where John Morton is either going to get lit up like a Christmas tree by the fan base if we drop this game, or he's maybe going to catch a little bit of respect. And I'm hoping it's the respect, because right now I'm on thin ice with him, or it should be the other way around. Really, he's on thin ice with me because I don't agree with don't agree with the game. You know, the way the game was called last week didn't put us in a position to win. Constantly put us behind the 8 ball.
Yes. The way he called that game last week, maybe it actually might be what he needs to do to win this game this week.
Absolutely not.
Well, the Commanders allow the 3rd most passing yards to QBs. They allow the 5th most passing touchdowns. They allow the 8th most rushing attempts, the 5th most receiving touchdowns to tight ends, the 2nd most receiving yards to wide receivers, and the 7th most receiving touchdowns to wide receivers. So this might be a game. I know you're going to need to use the run to set up the pass, but this might be a passing game.
Well, that's the point, is you have to use the run to set up the pass, and we have to be able to run the football. Let me just take a quick peek at their schedule. I don't want to get too off topic here, but let me take a quick peek at their schedule. They've played the Seahawks, pretty damn good football team, right? They played the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Packers, the Giants when they were healthy. They've had a pretty rough schedule. So when you look at the type of teams they've played, you would expect those types of numbers. Why? The Seahawks they're a team that passes the football. They also have 2 really good running backs. They set up the pass with the run. The Chiefs, same thing. They have all of these dynamic pass plays. They utilize a lot of pre-snap, post-snap motion, or pre-snap motion. They use a lot of tricks, right? A lot of gadget plays. The Cowboys, they have speed. They have Dak Prescott. They have a really good offensive line. The trick is being able to give Jared Goff time. If you can't give him any time, that's a problem. And a lot of these teams have been able to give their quarterbacks time. Now, the Commanders back in, what was that, week 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like week 5. They were still fairly decent on the offensive line. I know I highlighted it last night that they've now lost both their left and right tackle and their guard. They're in a very similar situation to us. So the Chargers, that they just won this last week, right? So they're in a very similar situation to us. But Herbert, the difference is that guy can run, right? He can escape. Jared Goff, not so much. But how do you help Jared Goff escape? You call the naked boots, you call the rollouts, you call the speed outs, you call the quick plays. You put your team in a position to win. That's how you do it. And if he doesn't do it, I mean, I wish I could. I'm going to have to get my second camera set back up. But when I started using my second camera, then someone started copying me and started using their second camera. And it's just like, yeah, no matter what I do, someone always copies me. So it's like, you know what?
You better go change your hat then.
I know, right? And then and so then, you know, it's like I start using picture in picture with green screen and Riley, and, you know, when he was in the picture, and then someone else started doing that. It's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you call me the copier. You're the one that's I got a whole list.
Man, you're using a microphone. You better.
I know. I got a whole list of stuff, but you know why I don't complain about it?
And a camera.
Because someone else has done it before me too. That's why.
Yeah. So there's a really huge difference between the Lions coming into this game and the Commanders coming into this game. The Commanders have lost 4 games in a row. So it started off in week 6 with a loss to the Chicago Bears, 25-24. And then in week 7, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys, 44-22. And then in week 8, they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, 28-7. And last week, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks, 38-14. And until very late in that game, it was 38-7. So they've basically gotten their butts stomped for the last 3 weeks in a row after a thrilling loss to the Chicago Bears, 25-24, where the Lions are coming off of a single loss. And there's something the Lions haven't done in over 3 years, and that's lose 2 games in a row. And I don't feel that the Lions are going to let themselves fall into this trap of losing 2 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that trap, right? Because Dan said it the other day. Is like, you guys keep asking me about this, and it's like you're setting me up. Look, they've had a rough schedule: Cowboys, Chiefs, Seahawks. So I get it. The Bears, look, they pulled one out, and they pulled one out. They shouldn't have won that game. Are the Commanders a great team right now? No, they're having a slump. All right, they're not playing well. They've got some players that are banged up. Do not fall for the trap, because this is still a professional football team. We just fell for the trap with the Vikings. And the thing, like I was saying earlier, that concerned me the most was what Dan Campbell said yesterday. And we're going to get into that right when we get back.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Man, I woke up to snow on my truck this morning. It's supposed to be 35 on Saturday. I don't know how much rock picking I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's going to snow here too, they said this weekend. So
Yeah.
not a great time for someone to be hitting a pole out front. Not giving me power. Just don't do it again when it snows. All right. So Dan Campbell said something yesterday.
Yeah.
And it kind of bothered me. And he said it a couple of times now. He was saying, I should just bring it in, but he was saying that he just wants the guys to finish and play hard. And, I mean, really, it felt like to me, like, is this team not playing hard? Are they not giving their all? Like, what does he see? Why is he saying that? He's never said that before. I mean, he's always said, yeah, we want a team that finishes and plays tough and, snap to whistle. I mean, all the normal, coach speak or whatever you want to call it. I don't think a lot of what Dan says is coach speak. I think it's real, raw, authentic Dan. I think he says it from a different perspective. And so when he says that, he wants his guys to finish and play tough, that alarms me. And so I got to thinking last night, my 2 brain cells rattling around, and I'm like, have the guys let up on Johnny Morton? Like, are they, because he said something else, which that video is going to drop today. I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. And I didn't get a chance to release the thing that I was supposed to release this morning because everything got all screwed up. I mean, you could see I was up at 4:55 and it didn't go out. So I'll retry that again tomorrow. But the problem that I have is the 2 things that he has said in 2 press conferences that are alarming me as a fan. And I'm not trying to cause widespread panic here, but what I am saying is anytime a coach has to call into question the players playing tough, playing physical, finishing, that sounds like a locker room issue. That sounds like what he said, a singular issue. And it sounds like an issue that we haven't had before. And then if you kind of look at the way the season is rolling right now, kind of makes sense. Like, they're not playing as hard. They don't look like they're on the same page at all. Everyone looks confused at times. And then the light bulbs go on at times. Like the Chicago Bears game, best game I've seen out of the Lions in a long time. Why? Well, we were injured a lot last year. But like I was saying the other day, man, last season, you didn't question the offense at all. Every week, it was like, we're going to go win because this offense is going to go pound it down their throat on the ground, and then Jared Goff is going to airmail it to whoever he needs to get the ball to. You had that confidence. You didn't care what the defense did because we were just going to outpace everybody. This year, It's like, man, I don't know. JMO's not working. He's a broken toy. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's Johnny. They're not using Gibbs. Hell, Montgomery's not even seeing the field. Isaac Tesla, what are we doing with him? And I get it. You know, some people are crying and saying we shouldn't let go, Patrick. Look, you had to let go Patrick. You had to. You definitely got a better replacement in Tesla. That doesn't mean that Tesla has to play immediately. It doesn't mean that he has to get a bunch of snaps. Patrick certainly didn't. But you had to let him go. You got a 7th round pick or something back for him, or 6th round pick, something. What did we get back for him?
Yeah, we got a 7th, I thought. Or
yeah, so we
6th.
we got something back for him,
Yeah.
and he was 33 years old. You absolutely have to make that play.
And Alpha Gridiron 1, you're totally wrong. Tesla is a wasted pick as of now. No, not at all. The kid's already got 2 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, I don't think he's a wasted pick.
How many does Matthew Golden have for the Packers? Their number 1. He has 0 touchdowns on the year. So don't tell me that Isaac Tesla is a wasted pick. Isaac Tesla is out there playing on special teams, on every special teams play, making huge tackles and blocks, and he's blocking in the run game, blocking in the for his other wide receivers. So don't tell me just because he's not putting up all these super awesome stats that he's a wasted pick. No way. The kid is going to be incredible in a season or 2.
He's gonna be a stud. The thing is it's hard to feed everybody, and so I get it. Alpha, I understand what you're saying. Like, maybe you're saying it's a wasted pick because he's underutilized, right? I would agree with that. He's underutilized, but at the same time, it's trying to find room for these guys to all get fed the football. Where I have a problem with this whole thing is if you're not using JMO and you're not using Tesla, well, that sounds like a wasted opportunity by an offensive coordinator. I don't think it's a wasted pick. I think it's a coordinator wasting the opportunity to use these guys. And to Eric's point, yeah, he has a couple of catches, both went for touchdowns to start his career. Then I think he dropped one and then had another catch. He doesn't have much.
Yeah.
But neither did Patrick. He didn't really do anything until week 9 or 10 last year. He finally got his first touchdown. I remember calling it the week before.
It was week 11, and
there
he
you
had
go.
2 of them, and I bet it and made a ton of money.
So there you go. So he didn't really do much, but he was clutch at the end, and he did make some clutch catches. He made some catches that were over 10 yards. And look, Tesla is an insurance policy. You have to remember that too, is if something does happen with JMO, Tesla runs, sub 4.4. I know JMO's in the 4.3s, or maybe even high 4.2s, but there's not much difference in 1/10 of a second. And look, Isaac Tesla has proven that he can get separation. He's proven that he can play the game. And again, to Eric's point, he's definitely playing his ass off in special teams. So I love the pick, and next year you're going to see a lot more out of him. The question for me, it's always going to fall back into Johnny Morton's lap. Why are you not using him, and why are you not using JMO? Why are you not even using Montgomery? Like we're literally down to 2 guys trying to win a football game. That's not good enough.
What happened to Jared Goff 5 times in the last game? He was laying on his backside with some big defensive lineman on top of him. How is he supposed to throw the ball to Tesla on any of those plays? Because Tesla was in and he was open on a couple plays, but when your quarterback has 0 time to throw the ball, or a guy throws his arm up and bats the ball away, there's not much that Tesla can do. He can run the best route in the world, but if Jared Goff can't get him the ball, then it's all for naught. So don't blame Tesla. In my eyes, don't blame Tesla.
So the other thing to that too is, the issue like you mentioned too, and I've mentioned it, is, he's underutilized, right? He's not being targeted. He's not being used at all. And this is always a common argument. Like we kept hearing the Broderick Martin, he never played in the last game against Washington. It's all Broderick Martin's fault because, he was on the sideline or whatever. So, not all 3rd round picks play. And I think that I've been pretty clear with that less than 15% of all third-round picks ever have started a football game or been a starter. And less than 3% of those 15% became elite football players. So he's a third-round pick, and he's not a wasted pick. He's a third-round pick stuck behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Gibbs. I mean, you could say Montgomery in the pass game at times, but he's stuck behind all these guys. And Khalif Raymond, obviously used on special teams. I would say if there's any waste of a player or maybe a wasted option right now, my question would be with Khalif Raymond.
Yeah.
Like, you could have upgraded, added a receiver that could have been a punt returner. I get it. He's an all-pro punt returner once, right? I get that he's pretty electric back there. I like Khalif Raymond. But my thing is, you need to have more versatility where your receiver that's maybe your 6th receiver or your 7th receiver that can actually do something in the game should be your punt and kick returner, not just a special teams guy and a special teams guy only. They'll probably figure that out next year. I like Khalif. Don't get me wrong. I love Khalif.
Yeah.
But those are some of the questions that I would have, like, why are we wasting a position on the team if he's not going to be utilized in the offense more? And he's not.
I think we're wasting Khalif's talents.
That could be too.
So listen, when we played the Minnesota Vikings, they had Price back there taking the kicks, right? And he almost ran one all the way back. He ran it to their own 45, right? On the opening kickoff. So he is the only kick returner back there. He's in the middle of the field, right on the goal line in the middle of the field. What do we have? We have 2 of them back, and it's usually Khalif Raymond on the left and Sailors on the right, and Sailors gets the ball 9 times out of 10 because they kick it to Sailors because they don't want anybody kicking it to Khalif Raymond. Well, let's put Sailors up there with everybody else and have Khalif Raymond by himself. Now, this last game, we had Vaki back there with Sailors, and they weren't kicking it to Vaki, and Vaki would hurry up and go up and try to make a block and pave the way for Sailors, and it worked a little better. But imagine that with Khalif Raymond instead of Sailors. I think Khalif Raymond is 1,000 times the returner that Sailors is. Let's get Khalif Raymond back there doing kickoffs instead of Sailors every time. I think we're wasting that opportunity right there.
Okay. I'm not going to flush this out right now, but I'm going to leave you with a thought. And we'll come back to it maybe tomorrow. I'll dig into it. Why not put them back there in like an I formation? Like, put them both in the center of the end zone, standing next to each other. Because whether you kick the ball left or you kick the ball right, one of them is going to run towards the football to go catch it.
Yep.
My question is, and this is why I got to flush it out, is I need to understand the rules a little bit better and be clear with it. What happens if that ball bounces into the end zone and through the end zone, or if it goes out of bounds before the end zone? I just want to make sure that I understand the full rules, because it's changed and then changed again, and it's clear as mud to me, really.
If it bounces in the end zone, it comes out to the 35.
Perfect.
If it bounces out of bounds, it goes out to the 40.
Just the 40 I expected. So there again, I'll take it at the 35 every day. We're not even getting it to the 35.
Yeah.
So put them in the I, or, put them back there in a stacked formation right next to each other. Wherever the ball's going, they're both going to run to it, and then one is going to branch up and go hit somebody. It seems pretty simple to me. Like, why is it so hard? It's not that hard. So what, you got to run an extra 20 yards on the play? You've already got your legs going. You're already into forward momentum, and then you grab the ball and go? I mean, there's probably a couple of theories around it. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll move on. I'm going to come back to that one. But I like that. I like the idea, and I think that, they're definitely being underutilized. Let me see what else is on this list. We got a long list, and I know we're not going to get to all of it, so I want to try to get to the most important points here.
And I can't go super over today.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
We got to go downstate. Yeah. I get to
Okay.
drive in the snow over the Mackinac Bridge today. Fun.
Oh, let's just hope it's not too windy for you.
No, the wind died down. So the other day, 2 days ago, I went to Lake Superior rock picking. There was 21-foot waves and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It was nuts.
Any surfers out there?
Dude, they could have been. It was the craziest thing ever. And I'm standing next to the shore and I have my waders on, right? So I'm 7-ply neoprene. I can go out in any weather. And those waves would come up, and it wasn't just a wave coming up hitting you. It'd come up and hit you about waist deep, and those waves were full of rocks, and they're just smashing into you, hitting you. And I'm like, holy crap. And you look down and your feet are buried 12, 14 inches.
That's
in
dangerous.
Rocks.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. So we just got, we got out of the water once that was happening, and I just stayed up on the rocks and did pretty good though. We had a good day.
So let's talk about this hot button issue for a moment here.
Sure. What is it?
It's Frankie Luvu. So
yeah.
you brought it up yesterday where you had just mentioned, the fact that he was getting fined and not suspended.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that last night, and I thought about it a little bit deeper, because my question would be this: is the NFL bias towards Brian Branch and the Detroit Lions? And the reason why I say that, I mean, of course we know the answer. But the reason why I say that is Frankie Luvu now being eligible to play against the Lions, right? Where's the parity in this? Okay, this player was supposed to be suspended. Now he's getting a fine. Just so happens to be playing the Lions this weekend. If it was any other team, would that player still be suspended? So let me finish my thought for a moment. The Lions, have Brian Branch barely touch whatever player it was at the Packer game last year. Should not have been ejected, should not have been suspended or any of that stuff. He wasn't suspended. He was just ejected. Frankie Luvu is a repeat violator. He's been doing these hip drop tackles consistently, gets caught for like 3 in a row. He was issued a 1-game suspension for the repeated violations of rules that are intended to protect the health and safety of players. The transgression stemmed from Luvu applying hip drop tackles, and then the latest coming on Sunday during the Commanders' loss to the Seahawks, where he did it again. The Week 9 game marked the 3rd time this season that Luvu has been cited for a hip drop infraction. Prior to that, he was fined for Week 4 and fined for Week 8. And then in the Week 9 was suspended for 1 game and fined. Well, that fine is now only turned into $100,000. He would have lost $538,000 or whatever the number was, $508,000. Now he's only losing $100,000, which is more than a lot of people make in a year, right? It's a lot of money. But if this was Brian Branch and this was his 3rd hip drop offense, he'd probably be suspended for 4 games.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go back to, okay, the fight. I get it. He shouldn't have done it. But he's never done something like that before. There was other things going on in that game that players should have been suspended for, or at least fined, or at least flagged at a minimum. Didn't happen. But Brian does one thing as the aggressor because, he finally had enough. He gets suspended. I know it's hard to compare those two. So that's why I'm going back to last year's Packer game, where I thought it was a fairly clean hit. I thought, look, helmets are going to touch, and we see it happen all the time. I did a video on that last year. Sam Laporta, I think it was the Texans game. Nope, it was the 49ers game that they were headhunting. Laporta was hitting his head like 3 times. Goff was hitting his head. St. Brown was hitting his head multiple times in this game. Not one flag for helmet-to-helmet contact. So if you care about player safety, then go back and review the 49ers game. And you tell me how on this earth that you didn't fine these guys or suspend these guys for clear targeting, even though targeting's not a thing. It's still helmet-to-helmet contact. It's still a personal foul, contacting the head or neck area. None of those guys get suspended. Frankie Luvu gets his suspended lifted with a heavier fine ahead of the Lions. I don't agree with it. I think that the NFL is full of you-know-what, and It's just adding more fuel to my second video. Is all it's doing. It's all it's doing.
Well, you know,
So-
there's someone that agrees with you, Will.
Probably you.
Well, me, but not only me. Pat McAfee
Oh,
has become one of the prominent voices when it comes to NFL coverage, and he has developed sources everywhere. One of the biggest stories to come out of Week 9 was that Washington Commanders linebacker Frank Luvu had been suspended for a game after multiple instances of the hip drop tackle. However, that suspension was overturned by Derek Brooks. Imagine that. They get Derek Brooks to look at his suspension while Jordy Nelson, the ex-Packer, gets to look at Brian Branch's. I didn't care for that. Now, Luvu will be eligible to play against the Detroit Lions this week, but his punishment was changed to a $100,000 fine. While the Commanders fans may be happy with that decision, McAfee announced on his show that the NFL is not pleased that it was overturned. And this is a quote from Pat McAfee. The NFL, I guess, is not necessarily thrilled that was lifted from a one-game suspension, because they would like this completely out of the game. They think precedent has to be set. I assume that Derek Brooks said $100,000 is a lot of money, and Frankie Luvu will change how he tackles. It is an interesting dynamic of what they are trying to make the game and what they are trying not to make the game, end quote. The hip drop tackle ban was voted by the league in March of 2024, with every team voting to ban it. One of the biggest issues the league has had with this rule is that it hasn't been getting called during games. Luvu was fined 3 times for this type of tackle in the last calendar year, but he hasn't had a penalty called on any of the 3 plays. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, even Pat McAfee says the NFL is pissed off about this. They are mad that this was not upheld. So I don't know.
I don't think the NFL's pissed off about anything.
I don't
The
know.
only thing that they can be pissed off about is that they're not getting $408,000 more dollars.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that they care. I don't know why Pat McAfee would think that the NFL is pissed off about this being overturned or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I think that the NFL's involved in it. Personally.
Yeah.
I mean, who reviewed his case?
Derek Brooks.
Okay, I don't remember Derek.
Yeah,
Brooks.
he was a linebacker.
Yeah, I know,
so-
but where would I don't remember who he played for.
I could look it up.
It's not a big deal. I just wondered if he has any history with the Commanders or anybody else.
American football linebacker. Let's see where he played. Tampa mostly. Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker. He's 52 years old.
Oh, so yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so he's been out of the league for a little bit as far as playing wise. But it's just funny that, you know, how come it wasn't Jordy Nelson deciding this one?
Right. I don't know if that would have made a difference, but the Jordy Nelson thing against, Brian Branch, clearly that's, I mean, come on. You would like to think that these guys don't have any bias, but let's just be real. He's a former Packer. Of course he's going to have some bias.
He played the Lions twice a year, every year, whether he played against Branch or not. That's not the point. The point is the guy hated the Lions. Can't tell me there was no bias with Jordy Nelson.
All right. So up in the Q&A section, I put a link to a video, which is the 49ers video. I also just put it in the posts. So I called it the 49ers Bounty Gate from last year. Man, I used to have some much better thumbs, but you know what I noticed? The color yellow, I've been using that since day one. Like, you go back and look at all my original thumbs. Day one. Day frickin' one. It's hilarious to me. All right. Frankie Luvu's in. Let's get into some playoff picture, unless there's anything that you really want to talk about before playoff picture.
Nope. The only things I got left today are around the NFL in 60 seconds and the NFC North report today.
Hit us in 60. Do it.
All right. So let's go around the league in 60 seconds. In Miami, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa addressed his recent struggles today. Tua, who is tied for the league lead with 11 interceptions, told reporters he is not playing to keep his job, but acknowledged his performance needs to be better as the team sits at 2-7. The San Francisco 49ers had a key update at quarterback. Brock Purdy was officially a limited participant in practice yesterday as he continues to work back from a turf toe injury, though coach Kyle Shanahan said they plan on pushing his workload this week. Following their trade for Rashid Shaheed, the Seahawks officially welcomed their new weapon. Shaheed passed his physical and was on the practice field in Seattle for the first time today, where he's expected to immediately take over kick return duties. One of the biggest trades that didn't happen. A report today from Sports Illustrated claims Saints running back Alvin Kamara told the team he would retire if they traded him, effectively killing any potential deadline deal. Then, big news from Arizona. The Cardinals have officially placed quarterback Kyler Murray on injured reserve. Murray has been out since week 5 with a foot injury, and this move means he will miss at least 4 more games. Veteran Jacoby Brissett, who has played well in relief, is now the starter for the foreseeable future. And finally, a practice update from Chicago. The Bears' injury report was a major concern yesterday. Both starting linebacker TJ Edwards and captain Kevin Byard missed practice, while star receivers DJ Moore and Rome Odunze also sat out to manage injuries. And that is around the NFL in 60 seconds.
Yeah, so I see a couple of like stupid comments in here. I don't remember the teams that Derek played for. Derek Brooks. I don't. That's all I couldn't remember. I know the player. Like someone is saying in here, he's a gold jacket guy, and you don't know who he is. No, I don't remember what teams he played for.
Yeah, he played for Tampa
because he's 55 years old, and it's been probably 20 years since he's played. It's been a hot minute. I slept a couple of times in that span of 20 years since he's played. So it's been a hot minute. Or 20 years. Well, it's that time. It's that time of season, Eric.
Yeah?
It is, where we have to start talking about things that matter. So let's get into it.
Playoffs?
Yeah, exactly.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. And that, I used to have that all keyed up. I still got to fix this stupid thing.
Yeah, we got to get that on the
Roadcaster. I like the old Roadcaster because I can't tell what the hell is on this thing.
Yeah.
Unless I put it on the screen, which I never think about doing. I just need to put it on the screen.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can. You use the app to put it on your screen.
Smart pads.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you can see it there.
Yeah. But it's having it all accessible, and the old one was just way too easy.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't spent enough time on it. All right, so right now, here's your playoff picture. Here's your playoff picture. Let me move a couple of things here. Let's make sure it's even up. All right, we'll take a quick break. I'm going to bring in the playoff picture. We're going to go through the playoff predictor, and we're going to have a conversation about it. Be right back. All right, let's get into it, man. So here we are, heading into week 10. Detroit Lions are kind of up and down and all over the place, as are a lot of the other teams in the league. The Lions were at the top of the NFC, and now we've fallen all the way down to the 7th seed. This is the playoff picture as of week 9. The Packers dropped 3 spots. The Rams shot up 1. The 49ers shot up 1. The Lions dropped 2. Buccaneers shot up 1. And the Eagles are now number 1. Buccaneers in 2nd. Seahawks in 3rd. Packers are 4th. Rams 5th. 49ers 6th. And your Lions are 7th. So if the playoffs were to happen right now, it's the Bucs and the Lions again. Except the roles are reversed, yeah?
Yeah.
We're on the road.
I'm going to Florida.
We are on the road. Hey, I don't mind going to Florida. I'll definitely be with my kids there and be at the game, but we need to be at home. We definitely need to be at home. On the other side of the AFC, your Colts, man. So you remember last year I said the Colts were going to be like one of the best teams in the league, and they weren't. They fell flat on their face, but their defense was pretty good. I could see it coming. And man, had they not brought in Daniel Jones, I don't know if they've ever would have made it this far. The Patriots, I'm not surprised. I thought, with what was happening, Terrell Williams, anything that was going to happen with that squad, they were going to have a great defense, and they do. That is a tough team right now. Broncos, they win. I just don't see them as a powerhouse right now. Do you think that they're a powerhouse in the AFC?
That defense, man, they have like 40 sacks where we're 2nd in sacks and we have 28.
Yeah, I'm not. You know that I'm not concerned about sacks though.
Yeah, I know, but that defense is pretty darn nasty for Denver. Their question marks are all on offense, so I happen to like the Broncos this year. I think they're more of a powerhouse than the Patriots this year.
Interesting. I got to fix something real quick. Got the wrong color on it.
And that Giants Denver game was one of the craziest games ever. 30 points in the 4th quarter.
Absolutely. Steelers hanging in at number 4 at 5-3. Bills at number 5 at 6-2. Chargers at 6. Man, they're going to fall off. I called the Chargers Lions Super Bowl, and that's not going to happen anymore. The Chargers are going to. There's no way. They've lost their tackles. They've lost their guard. They're hurting. Now, I made a comment in yesterday's video about Miles Frazier coming back in, and everyone was attributing. The fact that, hey, the Chargers went out and made a move. Why can't the Lions make a move? Why didn't the Lions bring, an offensive lineman in? And I think I made a pretty clear argument, which is they've lost their left tackle, their right tackle, their right guard. They've had musical offensive line chairs going on since week 3. The Lions really haven't. And that's why they had to bring somebody in. Much different set of circumstances. The Lions still have... Well, we don't have our guard anymore, but we still have everybody else, even though they're a little bit banged up. I think we're still in. It's really hard to find a left tackle. It's hard to find a right tackle in this league, especially someone that you feel is better than what you have already on your roster. Let's just hope that Miles Frazier can get up to speed and be exactly what we need. Jags in the 7th spot is a bit of a surprise, but then again, Eric, I'm just going to ask you straight up. If you were looking at this lineup, the Chiefs are not in it. The Chiefs are not in this, and that is a shocker, right? If this were to flush out for the rest of the year, I think that all of these teams are beatable. I believe that. The Bills, I think, would be the toughest team right now, but their defense is not great. And I think the Colts would be a tough team, but I have confidence going up against the Colts, and we're going to find out here in a few weeks anyway. So, what is your thoughts on if this flushed out, and then we're gonna do a playoff predictor, and we're gonna pick our own teams.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs, they're only a half a game back right now. They're at 5-4, where the Jaguars in 7th place are 5-3. Listen, if you're asking me whether I think the Jaguars or the Chiefs are going to make it, I'll pick the Chiefs 10 times out of 10. But there's another team that not too many people are talking about right now that I think if they can pull it off this weekend, they just might move all the way up to being a division winner, and that's the Ravens. The Ravens have a very, very easy schedule coming up. Other than the next game or two, the Ravens play the Vikings this weekend. And if they can somehow pull it off against the Vikings, they may take over that number 4 spot from the Steelers. If you go look at the odds in Vegas right now on all your sports books, they have the Ravens as the best odds to win their division now that Lamar's back and they're getting healthy again. Don't be surprised if you see the Ravens at 3-5 start coming back and win that division.
I'm cool with that. Let them come back in. We'll shut them down again. All right, let's just roll through this as quick as we can in 20 minutes.
Okay.
We're going to go from top down. We got 9 weeks or 8 weeks to get through here. So we're going to go as quick as we can. I'm going to go, I'll pick week 10. You pick week 11. All right. I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go Colts.
I got to get that open.
You can't see it on the screen?
It's not big, dude. It's not big enough.
That's what she said.
Not even close.
That's what she said too. Just kidding.
I'll find the playoff predictor.
It's in the link. So while you're finding the link, it's in the sheet. I'm gonna go through week 10. I'm gonna go Panthers. All right, let me pull up my sheet. Hold on. It is under Will's Topics, NFL News, Will's Topics.
Oh, NFL News. Okay.
Yep. And then it says playoff picture, and then it says playoff simulator. There's a link to article, and then there's a playoff simulator. In yellow. Because that's, the color I love. All right. New York Giants and Chicago Bears. Unfortunately, I'm taking the Bears here, even though I still think the Giants could probably beat them. Texans and Jags, taking the Texans. Buffalo, definitely. Vikings and Baltimore. I'm going Baltimore, even though I think the Vikings have a shot. Jets and Cleveland. I got zero faith right now that the Browns are happy with anything. Like, they're maybe not even going to try to play. I'm going to take the Jets. I'm going to give Aaron Glenn 2 in a row. Bucks and New England. I'm going to go New England. Seattle and Arizona. Well, we know Kyler Murray is out, and I had a question on that too. I know he's been down for, several weeks now, since about week 5 with a foot injury. I think the Cardinals are tanking. I really do. San Francisco and the Rams, this is a tough game. This is a tough game to pick. I honestly, I don't know who to pick, but I'm going to go with the Rams. Got to take my Lions, taking Pittsburgh, and taking the Eagles. So 2 NFC North teams will win, 2 will lose this weekend. Are you up and running?
Yep, I'm on there now.
All right, week 11.
So week 11, the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. I'll take the Patriots. The following game is Washington and Miami. I'm going to say Washington is basically out of it. I'm actually going to pick Miami in that one. And then Carolina, Atlanta. I'll give that one to Carolina. And then Tampa Bay, Buffalo. I'm going to say Buffalo on that one. Jacksonville, LA. I will give it to Jacksonville since it's at home. And then Minnesota, Chicago. I'm going to give that one to Minnesota. Green Bay, New York. I'm going to always pick against the team that I can't stand. And then the Bengals and Pittsburgh. I'm going to give that one to Pittsburgh. Houston, Tennessee. I'll go Houston on that one. San Fran on the next one. And in a toss-up, I'm gonna say Seattle does some stuff in the next game. I'll pick Seattle on that one. And then Baltimore over Cleveland. I'm going to say Denver at home over Kansas City. And then I'm going to take the Detroit Lions in the upset over the Eagles. And I will take Dallas to beat Las Vegas.
Did you say Cleveland or Baltimore?
Baltimore in that one.
Okay. Week 12. I'm gonna go Houston in an upset.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Baltimore is definitely beating the Jets. Pittsburgh's gonna take down the Bears. Look, I don't know what's going on with the Bengals and Flacco. So I missed that game this weekend. Did Flacco play?
Yeah. And he almost won that game. He had like almost 500 yards of passing and 4 touchdowns.
I probably would have taken the Bengals in that previous game in week 11. I probably would have taken the Bengals there, but I've got to give it to the Patriots. I think their defense is going to be too tough for Flacco. Lions over the Giants for sure. Look, I think Minnesota is going to be too tough for Green Bay, assuming they stay healthy. Man, ripping off 3 wins in a row, potentially. Jesus.
For Minnesota?
Nah, I'm taking Green Bay. All right, Indy at Kansas City. I want to see Indy win that game. I think that they can. Tennessee, I'm taking Seattle. Jacksonville, taking the Browns over the Raiders. I'm going to take Dallas over Philly.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go New Orleans over Atlanta. Bucks over the Rams. And Carolina over the 49ers.
Nice.
All
I
right.
like that.
Week 13 is all you.
Yeah, you ready for this? Green Bay goes home with a big giant L on Thanksgiving. And then Casey is going to take care of Dallas. Baltimore is going to take care of Cincinnati. The Eagles are going to beat Chicago. I'm going to take Carolina to beat the LA Rams. And then we're going to take San Francisco to beat the Browns. Indy to beat Houston. And then I'll take Miami over New Orleans. I'm going to take the Jets in an upset over Atlanta. I'm going to take Tampa Bay over Arizona.
2 crazy calls.
Jacksonville over Tennessee. Seattle over Minnesota. I'll take the LA Chargers over Las Vegas. I will take Buffalo over Pittsburgh. Denver over Washington. And in an upset, I'm going to take the New York Giants over the New England Patriots.
Now, I assume that the Giants are on the road that week, right? Yeah, they're away.
Yes.
That's going to be a tough one. Look, the Giants still have a great team.
They do.
I know that they only lost like Cam Scatabo, and that's really about it. I think that they're going to sneak out a couple more wins than I think we're giving them here. All right, let's head back home. Lions are taking on Dallas. We're definitely not losing that game. Seattle over Atlanta. No. I think Atlanta is going to squeak that one out. I think Atlanta is going to win a couple more games, and we're giving them credit. Pittsburgh over Baltimore. This is one of the biggest clashes of the season. It's going to be one of the best games of the week, I think.
Yeah, and that's where I think Baltimore takes the division back, is that game right there.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Baltimore. Assuming that Lamar Jackson's playing and healthy. Cleveland over Tennessee. Look, Tennessee's going to have they're going to have a good game that game. They're not going to finish 1-16. Yeah. Chicago and Green Bay, like it's a toss up. Like who do
Bear
you
down?
Well, okay, so did you pick? Did you already pick or did I pick them?
No, this is yours.
No. I'm going back to look at the other Green Bay and Bears. Did we already pick another one?
Green Bay and Bears didn't play.
They didn't play yet. Okay.
No. That was the Packers and the Vikings.
Okay. So if they have 2 more games left, I'm gonna give this one to Green Bay at home. And then if they're playing again, are they playing again the rest of the season? Do we know? Either way, I think they'll split. That's my whole focus here. I think they'll split.
Okay.
That's my thought. You do whatever you want on the pick when you get it. Indianapolis, Minnesota. What is the timeline for Lamar Jackson? Or not Lamar Jackson. Jade Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, late December.
Okay, I'm going Minnesota. Miami or the Jets. Jets. Bucks. Broncos. Arizona's washed up. Buffalo. Kansas City. Oof. I'm going to go Chargers in an upset.
Oh, wow.
And I'm only doing that hoping that they're going to have a little bit more continuity in the offensive line. Nah, I got to take Philly.
Yeah.
I have to. All right, week 15.
All right, we're going to go with Tampa Bay at home. I'm going to take Cleveland in an upset over the Bears.
That's not going to happen.
Well, that's who I'm taking. Every week there's a game that you don't expect. And then I'm going to take Baltimore, Arizona. We'll do the Jets in an upset over Jacksonville.
Did you just pick Arizona?
Yes, I did.
They don't have a quarterback.
Brissett, he's doing better than Kyler Murray. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right.
And then I'm going to take the Jets, and then I'm going to take KC. I'm going to take New England in the upset over Buffalo. And then we're going to go with the Giants, Philly, Denver, Detroit, and Carolina. And that's going to be a clash. I'm going to go Indy in that game, and then San Fran for the last game.
Still got two more.
I do?
Yeah, you got Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I didn't scroll down all the way. And then I will take Dallas over Minnesota and Pittsburgh over Miami.
All right. Week 16. Rams. Also, I get the second pick. I call Green Bay. I'm going to take Chicago at home.
There you go.
Washington, they should have Jaden Daniels back, but it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah,
Even
they're
though
going to be out of contention.
I really want Philly to lose. New England or Baltimore. I really don't care what happens on the other side. I'm going New England. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, it's at home.
Tampa. Buffalo, even though I'm thinking there's going to be a wild upset somewhere. Dallas and LA. Look, LA is missing offensive linemen. Dallas, they're not a great team either, but they do have some speed on the outside. I'm going to go New Orleans Saints in an upset over the Jets. I'm going to go. We'll give Minnesota over the Giants. Even though I don't think that's going to happen. But KC will take them over Tennessee. Atlanta. Jacksonville in the thriller. I think the Lions would have lost another game by now. But I'm still going to take them in this one. We're going to give Houston a win. We're going to give the Bengals a win. And we're going to give San Fran the win. All right, week 17.
Week 17. I'm going to take Dallas in the first game. Detroit to get their revenge on Christmas Day for having to go all the way to Minnesota for Christmas.
JJ is going to be on his back a lot in that game.
Yep. Then I'm going to take Denver over KC. I'm going to take Carolina over Seattle.
Wow.
Carolina is going to be slipping into the playoffs. And then I'll take Arizona, Baltimore, Houston, New York, Pittsburgh, Indy, Tampa Bay, New England. And then we'll go New Orleans, Buffalo, San Fran, LA Rams.
All right, week 18. Okay, game doesn't matter. We'll go Falcons, Buffalo. Where are the Lions at? Lions are the number 1 seed right now. I'm going to have the Lions lose in week 18 because we're going to rest some players.
Yeah.
Bengals. LA in a thriller. Houston in a thriller. It's all on the line now. Arizona in a thriller? Nah, we'll go LA. Come on, Raiders. Come on, Raiders. No, they ain't going to do it. I tried. Green Bay and Minnesota, I could care less. But what happens if I have Green Bay win? They're not in. If Minnesota wins, they're not in. It does not matter. It's at home for Minnesota. I'm going to give it to Minnesota. New England, Giants, Philly, Pittsburgh, San Fran. Ooh, if San Fran wins, they go to the 4. If they lose, they go to the 6. So they're automatically in. I'm going San Fran and Tampa. Puts Tampa at the 2, Lions at the 1. So if all of that happens, which there's going to be a lot of games that don't happen that way. Lions would be 1, Colts would be 1, and there you go. It's Lions and Colts Super Bowl if they can hang on.
And I don't see the Chiefs in there at all.
Nope, Chiefs are not in there, and the Chiefs would have finished 10-7. So if you look at the records here, 10-7 Jags beats the Chiefs. Hold on. Oh my God.
So,
Oh my God. We got some very bad breaking news right now.
oh, really?
Hold the phone. Take a quick break. Be right back.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, it is with a heavy heart to have to announce this, but Marshawn Nealon has passed away from the Dallas Cowboys. Quote here by Adam Schefter that we are deeply saddened by the tragic news of the passing of the Cowboys' Marshawn Nealon. Our thoughts and prayers are with his girlfriend Catalina, family, friends, and his teammates. We have been in contact with the Cowboys and have offered support and counseling resources. As you guys know, Marshawn Nealon was speculated to become a Detroit Lion and had an interview with the Detroit Lions. Local guy here, I think it was Western Michigan.
Yep.
That's just absolutely tragic, man. I don't, obviously none of us know what's going on here, how it happened. I hope it's not the S word or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just, I hate to end a show this way.
Yeah. ESPN doesn't say, but he was drafted by the Cowboys last year, and Nealon set records for tackles, sacks, and tackles for loss at Godwin Heights High School in Wyoming, Michigan, before attending Western Michigan. In 38 collegiate games, he had 27.5 tackles for loss, 13 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections. He was a second-team All-Mid-American Conference pick in 2023, finishing with 57 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 7.5 tackles for loss in 9 games. He is the second Cowboy to pass away during the season in recent years. In 2012, linebacker Jerry Brown died in a car accident in which teammate Josh Brent was driving.
Just absolutely crazy, man.
Man, that's horrible. No matter what happened, whether it was natural causes or something he did to himself, that sucks. 24 years old, just a baby.
Unbelievable. I'll be paying attention to see what happened here, but man, like I said, like I just posted too, like really enjoyed working him up and watching his film and press conference and everything that we got to take a look at with him. Really thought that he was going to end up in Detroit, but it didn't happen. I know you got to run, so we'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
All right, buddy. See ya. Yeah, sorry, I hate to end the show that way, so I'm going to try to move into something. But obviously, thoughts and everything are with the Cowboys and his family, friends, the team, obviously, teammates. I don't know what it is this year. There's been a rash of former football players passing away super early. There was another one last night. It was 63 years old, and I forget his name. But this is it's too early, right? It's never a good time, but it's just too early, especially for a 24-year-old that is just starting his career. I hate to even say it'd be interesting to hear what happens, the following from this and what we learn of how it actually happened. Yeah, not good stuff, man. Not good stuff. Not good stuff at all. Anyway, playoff predictor. We'll do it every week. And we're at that mode now where we got to start looking at playoff contention and where the Lions are. I mean, the Lions being at the bottom right now as the 7th seed is not the place to be. Last year I did kind of an in-depth research on where seeds win, where they have won, what it takes to win. We've gone in offense versus defense. So we'll do that again. We'll kind of relive the. If I was smart, I would have saved it, and I used to save all my sheets. I just don't know where it is because I've had so many sheets, millions and millions of words that I've written that it's hard to find stuff. But the Lions being at the 7th seed, I'll tell you right now, we're not winning a Super Bowl. We would be like one of the first teams ever to win a Super Bowl as a 7th seed. The large majority of Super Bowl winners are the 1st and 2nd seed. And it drops off in a hurry, getting to the 3rd and 4th seed. And the 5th seed is even worse. But very few and far between have you ever seen a 5th, 6th, or 7th seed win a Super Bowl. So we have to finish at the top. We do. We have to be up near the top. Even the 4th seed is a pretty rough place to be when you're trying to make it to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win. All right, to round out today, what are the Commanders saying? Brought to you by Tim Twentyman. He says what the Washington Commanders are talking about ahead of their Week 10 matchup at Northwest Stadium against the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon. Number one, the Commanders head coach Dan Quinn confirmed that quarterback Jaden Daniels dislocated his left elbow in the loss to Seattle on Sunday night. And Quinn said that there is no timetable for his return, but he will be out Sunday and for the foreseeable future. Wide receiver returner Luke McCaffrey also broke his collarbone against the Seahawks, and he will also be out versus Detroit as well. Defensively, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore suffered a torn ACL and is done for the season. That is 3 huge players for the Commanders. And like Eric was saying, they're really beat up. We're really beat up too. But they are beat up. No quarterback, no number 1 receiver, or Luke McCaffrey, and their best corner all done. That's not a good place to be. So tough night on the injury front, Dan Quinn said. All three guys were absolutely elite competitors, and they mean a ton to our team for their play style and what they represent. Number 2, we already spoke about this, I believe, earlier. Maybe we didn't, but Bobby Wagner has been part of teams in the past that have gotten off to slow starts like the Commanders and currently experiencing that same fate. Those teams were able to get back or get out of it by getting a win and turning that into a streak to get right back into the thick of the playoff race. That's the mindset he said he's trying to instill in his teammates this week, starting on the practice field with the message to focus only on Detroit and what it will take to beat the Lions on Sunday. Bobby Wagner said, quote, "A lot of it is just belief, man. Doing the work. A lot of times doing the work takes care of a lot of stuff," end quote. And thirdly, linebacker Jordan Maggie was asked about the preparation this week in the defensive meeting room facing Detroit's dynamic running back tandem of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Maggie acknowledged it's a good tandem in Detroit with Gibbs' speed and Montgomery's downhill style, but he also has a lot of confidence in their front seven on the defense and believes they'll be able to limit Gibbs, Montgomery, and the Lions' rushing attack. Yeah, good luck with that. Fourth, the Commanders are dealing with injuries at wide receiver are not expected to have Terry McLaurin available on Sunday. That's also huge. So 1 and 2 both out. Washington has been the 4th best rushing team in the NFL this season and hope that they can use that strength to give them opportunities in the pass game against Detroit on Sunday. Dan Quinn said sometimes the play pass that can come off of the run game has to be where you make your mark. There can be sometimes where a 1-yard run or a 2-yard run, the byproduct of that is the linebacker and the safety coming downhill, can get you a play pass behind them, or can it get you a play pass behind them? That's the balance of playing first and second down football. The more effective you run play action should be a little bit more effective. I'm sorry, let me read that again. The more effective you can run play action should be a little bit more effective, but you have to take the shots in the run game to do that. John Morton, please read that. Please read that, Johnny Moe, because he's spot on. You have to utilize Jahmyr and you have to utilize David to get the play pass open. You know, I wondered how many play action passes we've actually run this season compared to seasons in the past. I just have this feeling that it's a lot less. I haven't looked, but I have a feeling it's a lot less. Like we're not getting into the look. Linebacker Frankie Luvu spoke on Wednesday about his original suspension and all that getting dropped. We've already spoken about all that, but he said, quote, "The weight is off my shoulders. My teammates know who I am. People know me, and people around me know who I am as a player and a person. None of my intentions are to get out there and try to hurt somebody. I try to play the game the right way and control what I can control. I can't control what other people think about it. Whoever leaves it up to their hands to make a decision if I can play or not." And lastly, Washington will have a mix and match of a little bit. We'll have a mix and match. We'll have to mix and match a little bit at cornerback on Sunday with Lattimore out. Jonathan Jones, Mike Sainristil both have inside-outside flex per Quinn, and some of it could be matchup-based versus Detroit. Look, I'm expecting Mike Sainristil to come in and have a good game. All right, I am. He's played pretty well this year, and he's going to have to be somebody that we limit, however that is. If he's matched up on Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to lose. If he's matched up on J-Mo, he's going to lose. It's that simple. So they have to attack him, but I still expect him to have a pretty good game. It doesn't mean we're going to win every single one, but he's also someone that we have to pay attention to in his ball hawking skills because he can definitely get after these wide receivers and force the quarterback into a bad decision. He's really good at doing that. He's good at baiting. So I have to pay attention to him. So they're not totally out, but they definitely have a lot of hurdles to jump through this week. Obviously, I feel the Lions are going to win. We'll get into more of the X's and O's tomorrow. We'll get into the keys of the game. I will get finished tonight. And then tonight we will roll into gripes and hype. Yes, I know it's been a minute. We're going to do it. And then the other thing is tape review. We'll do tape review this weekend. So I should still have time on Saturday to do it, and we'll do it on Saturday. It's members only. So if you're a member, jump in. And then we'll yeah, we should still be able to do it live. A couple of times I had to send it out. We'll see how it goes. If we get a warning or something, then we'll just have to shut it down. But that's what sucks about it. Unless I can, I know I've said this for about 6 months now, unless I can figure out how to get this done somewhere else, I'll let you know if I can figure it out between today and tomorrow. Any questions, statements, comments, anything you want before I leave? And then I don't know if I saw a reply from Kevin, Brent, or Krista. But Kevin, Brent, and Krista, you guys all should have received an email with tracking information. Just double check your spam. And let me know you got it. I'll track it on my side too. But I just at least want to let you know you should have an email somewhere. I'll send it again today anyway. Okay. Yep, Kevin, you got it. Perfect. All right, that's it for today. I'm out of here, and we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll get to wrapping up more of the Commanders talk tomorrow, and tonight's gripes and hype. So if you have some things you want to talk about, send it in, mailbag@rockdown.com. Phone lines will be open, and you'll be able to conversate about whatever it is that you want to conversate about. Just remember, it's just having a good conversation between me, you, and the wall. And everybody else is listening. So there's no reason to be scared. Just call in. Just call in and share whatever it is you want to share about your Detroit Lions. So thank you guys for all joining us this morning. Appreciate you guys, each and every single one of you. You are the best part of what makes Rockdown Detroit Lions go. To all the members, moderators, listeners, subscribers, and more. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Go One Pride. Adios.